So students, I'm going to try to record some example responses so that you have a better idea of what I'm looking for. Really, the point is like this is supposed to be a thorough, I don't know if I can make that word clearer, and like robust answers. So I want you to like focus on one question and answer it fully. Say more than you think you would. Like most of your problems and what's going to stop some of you guys from passing the AP test is you don't explain yourself. Like you need to talk more. So like when you're not going to have a defined question on the test, but you might have one that just like assumes you know the definition. So like let's look at this question one here from one that could have worked in this unit, but I didn't assign it. A asks you to define those following principles, and then B asks you to identify a letter on the map and discuss how the stream we chose illustrates the principle. And you can only use each stream once. So on the actual AP test this year, they might not do A, but they could do B, and they could just say like for or they do like B, select one migration stream that shows the principle of core periphery and discuss how it is, like discuss that stream. Um, Choose another stream and show how that does distance decay. So they're implying that you already know the definition, but you need to show that you know it and apply it. So let's do distance decay. So this would be like one video recording, and it would stop after this. But I'm gonna do more than that. But like I just want you to record one answer at a time. Okay, one. Don't try to do all of it at once. You're not going to do a good job, and it's going to be impossible to reply to you because you're going to have said so much that we can't build on yours. So um, the distance decay is when. Let me look at my notes. Um, Distance decay describes how there's a spatial interaction that that is dependent on distance. And this means that as something gets further away from its origin, the intensity or the intensity of the interaction is much more decreased. Period. That's your answer. That is distance decay. Stop your recording and then that's good. That's one response. If it's correct, I'll give you that 1 point. Okay. Somebody else could also answer chain migration is da 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 da. Um, like I'll do another one. Chain migration describes when family and friends, also known as kin, follow earlier migrants to a location. That is honestly a good enough answer just because it's defined. So I would stop my recording there. B. This is when I should hear you talk like 4 sentences for your answer. Those definition ones, I think my first one might have been 2 sentences, and that chain migration one was 1 sentence. So this would be a more robust answer when I'm actually selecting a migration stream. And I'm going to do distance decay for this one. So those would already have been 2 recordings. Now I'm on a separate recording. The stream shown indicated by letter B, which has migrants moving from Mexico or Central America to the Southwest United States, would be an example of distance decay. This is so 1 sentence. This is illustrated by the size of the arrow, and the key shows that the larger arrows are major migration streams. So that is a major migration stream, and distance decay applies here because these migrants are moving from a relatively close location and often settling in the southwest of the United States. While there could be Central Americans and Mexicans in other parts of the United States, they're in a much greater number in states like California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas due to the principle of distance decay, which says that they would be more likely to settle in a place that is closer to the place of origin. That's a good response. May have sounded repetitive, but you need to show that you know the principle you're talking about. Okay. So I've done three separate responses. Those would have been 3 points. Now I'll do one for chain migration. Uh, the stream shown in indicated by letter A could be an example of chain migration. This shows that many immigrants, a major migration stream is coming from Asia and settling in the western coast of the United States and in western Canada. This is chain migration applies in this instance because for over 100 years, um, almost closer to 200 years, migrants from Asia have moved to the United States to serve as labor force, but more recently they have come to the United States as part of an immigration program that changed in the 1960s, where it allowed for family reunification. Family reunification, according to this law, allowed migrants um, to sponsor family from their place of origin to be reunited, and this allowed many Asians to bring other people over, like parents and grandparents. So that relationship of people coming who are directly related would be chain migration. It also applies chain migration applies in A because these immigrants like to settle where they find people of a similar culture. So knowing that there are already a lot of Chinese people in California, this encourages other Chinese people to immigrate because they feel like it wouldn't be as big of a culture shock and they could have an easier transition. Those are good answers. That's what I'm looking for. Each of those we did four. I did four. Each of those would be separate videos. If you can't answer in detail, then you got to go look at your notes and look stuff up. But try to answer the ones that you can. But when you're talking about like a civil war, you might have to look up what the Civil War is. It's not supposed to be off the top of your head. This is difficult for me to do off the top of my head, and I'm the teacher of this topic. So it shouldn't, like, none of you should be able to do that.